Hello friends, welcome to Exampur. I hope my voice is audible, screen is visible clearly. So today we are going to discuss about the important sections of economy, and we are going to make you aware. We are going to study about some perspective of Indian economy and what is required to just have the access of our subject on static basis. What basic necessity is there for the subject? We are going to study review regarding the same. Okay. So now on, like economics is what? It is just the economic activities, like studying. This is the subject or the science which is studying about the economic activities, how the things are going, in the scenario. Okay. So develop the possible model for the functioning, or economic agent can be in the like economy is talking about this, like whatever kind of things are taking place in the economy, be it about agriculture sector, industries, businessman, capitalist, how they all are working on the parameter. Economics is all about science, and economic agent is all about who is performing the task. Who is performing the task? And this is about the study, and this is about an area. Things are taking place. Taking place of production, distribution, and trade, consumption, whatever it be about. Okay, these are the three ingredients we are talking about. So guys, these three things are being taken into the consideration if we are talking about with respect to the Indian economy. Economy, how the things are taking place, we need to take the components along. Like aggregate demands, if we are taking into the consideration, aggregate demands, it is made up of every criteria. If we are taking about the individual perspectives, how much consumptions are being made by the individual consumptions, what level of spendings we are making, spendings made by individual per person, we are making the calculation individual basis. Okay, individual spending we are talking about. Next, investment to add in supply, to add in production, plus government expenditure. Government expenditure, what do we mean? Spending made by the government. Spending made by government, plus annex. What do we mean by annex? We are taking the things into consideration, what we are just making export and what we are just demanding from other country, that is known as import. Net export is the combination or the difference between export minus import. Export minus import. What all these four components are depicting into the nature, that is whatever level of demand we are making in the economy. What level of demand we are making in the economy. So Indian economy is referred. Why I have just come across this equation? Just because of the point that production we are making, distribution is all about whatever level of growth you are making, is it reaching to people? This kind of check and balance has to be made by distribution criteria. Production is going to just allocate the resources. How much production you have produced. It is basically making the relevance with how much things you have produced And distribution is all about inclusivity. Whatever production you have created in the Indian economy, it is reachable to what segment? It is reaching to people or not? If it is reaching to people, means distribution system is going well. If it is not reaching, means inclusivity is not being undertaken. Okay. So trade and consumption. If you have to make the analysis whether you are running so good in consumption pattern or not, if you are taking the assumption like our economy is going so well in consumption, if you want to make the assessment on that basis, then you can just go by the data how GST is performing. The way a day before only GST has given the data in incremental form. If the GST data is rising or it is showing the increasing trend, means somewhere consumption is going well in our country. Somewhere consumption is going well in our country. How you have made the analysis? Like GST is just grabbing the tax on the basis of indirect taxes. Okay, it is just grabbing the taxes on the basis of indirect taxes which levy on goods and services. Okay. So economy is result of set of process. It is all about the culture, the surrounding in which you are living, education in order to spread the knowledge about the production. Yes, this level of production is taking place. You can make demand. This kind of awareness could be generated out of the education. Technological evaluation, historical, this is study of entire things. And ultimate aim of every human is to survive. And how to survive? With the help of resources. Resources has to be undertaken by the endowments. Endowments mean availability of the resources we are talking about. Somewhere resources are making affiliation or interconnectivity with the environment, ecology. Okay, from where are we collecting the resources? That is from the environment, right? So this is what we are talking about here. So again, I am just explaining about the point. What is economics? Economics is just the study we are making on production. What level of production you have made? What level of distribution scenario? Like a day before, I have just made you understand regarding the growth rate that it is on number 5th position, and per capita and the health sector I have talked you about, and HDI. These all things are on which basis we are discussing the pointers. The pointers we are discussing on, this is only the study. And whatever study we are making on the economic ingredients means this would be claim it as the economics. Economics is going to make the balance in the system that how much resources are available, how the things are going in perspectives, and how the demand is running as per the given supply part. Okay, or economic agents who is performing the task. Whosoever is performing the task of determining the growth, whosoever is performing the task to produce the goods and services, whosoever is taking the task of consuming, who is making investment, okay, who is making deal with the international scenario, international in the sense of export and import we are talking about. And economy is the area, production, distribution and the trade we are talking about. So economy is area where the things are being conducted, okay, where the things are taking place. So this would be taken into the consideration. Next point is all about what we have studied, and economy is result of what? All the things. Ultimate aim of the human, that is to survive, that is to attain the satisfaction level with the available means. Okay, how many resources are available to us, that makes sense. Okay. So before going forward, I just want to let you know about the Exampur app, guys. You just need to go by these 6 steps. You need to get registered in order to take the advantages out of the free provisions available on the app. That is for the live paid batches, and the topic wise quizzes are going to be there. If you are feeling like that things are going so expensive in waste, you can just give the test formation. It is going to be available on the app. You will be getting a scholarship on the batches. So you can take the free preview of the app Free preview means lots of benefits you will get to see out of the platform, or that would be in systematic and sequential basis. So classification of the sector of economy we are talking about. Classification means we are somewhere making the division in the format of the economy. Decentralization of the platform, how the things are taking place. The way we were talking about yesterday, like we were discussing about the food processing industry. We were talking about the interlinkage between the sectors. Whatever, we are just going to do analysis on that format today. So classification is all about the sector analysis. Sector has to be divided on three bases. Sector of Indian economy is divided on the basis of nature of job. What kind of job is there? Nature of job, if we are making the correlation, like primary sectors, if we are taking the things into consideration relevant to the primary sector, it is just the extraction of resources in the very first stage. Okay, in the very first stage. If we are talking about the secondary sources, secondary, like this would be considered as intermediate stage between agriculture and the service sector. Tertiary sector would be there in case of like providing the services. If agriculture is producing, industry is preparing the goods, turning the goods into finished goods, who is going to making the things available at the doorstep level, that it has to be done by the tertiary sector, because communication, transportation, insurance, banking, like credit provisions, everything's are undertaken by the tertiary sectors. Okay, so this is the core part. This is the core part. This is the baseline of the economy. Plus, Indian economy is considered as the agrarian economy, and this is the foremost important point, as we have undertaken the pointers at the time of a pandemic, that this was only the sector who has performed so well at the time of pandemic. That's too in positive. Everybody, other sectors were performing in the negatives. Okay, next point, this is the initial extraction of the resources. We are making the direct extraction of the resources, the things which are undertaken under the sector. Secondary part, this is the intermediate, converting the goods like raws into the finished goods. Converting the raws into finished goods. Tertiary is all about like infrastructure is being created. Infrastructure I'm talking about, the kind of surrounding has to reach. If we have to like make a supply of goods and services to the doorstep level, we would require transportation, or it has to make the availability with the help of tertiary sector. Communication, we want to make the upgradation. Amazing, Mayank. How are you? So यहाँ पे on the basis of working condition, how the things are being undertaken, like organized sector and unorganized sector. As the name is depicting, organized, everything is in a very systematic way. Systematic way means formalized way. We are talking about every documentation is there. Okay, documentation is there, everything you will get to see. Unorganized means things are not taken into the registration format. On the basis of ownership, who is holding that property? We are going to talk about that. Private means private ownership, and public means government ownership. Okay, who is undertaking the private property? Like if you are talking about the banks and all, so it is undertaken by the private person, and this is under private sector's main motive is to have the profit orientation, profit maximization, and public sector is to acquire the welfare state of economy. Okay. So guys, classification, sectors of economy, nature of the goods, working condition, these are the bases on which behalf you have to allocate the sector. Like jobs, working condition and ownership. Okay. Sectors are being divided on the basis of job, working condition, and ownership. These are the three medium. This has to be making the insurity about who is owning the resources, and working condition, whether it be formal, as we are trying to make our economy formalized, formal or informal. Jobs, whether in which sector you are, nature of job means in which sector you are making the inclusion, like primary, secondary and service. This would be considered as the most productive sector. Most productive sector, as less labor is contributing more. What do you mean by most productive? Like less workers are included into this segment, as we are already aware about it, that service sector includes. Service sector, what do we mean by service sector? Service sector includes less and less employment. Obviously, no. It is providing more and more to the growth perspective, making contribution on huge basis in the GDP. But still, it is not providing income or employment opportunity for much people in the same balanced way. Okay, so less people are working or performing or making contribution towards the GDP. That is more. This is why this would be considered as most productive sector and least productive sector. Why is it so? As more and more population is indulged under the primary basis. Okay, more and more labor are included in the primary sector, or it would be considered as least productive sector. On the basis of nature of job, it is with concern that extraction of the raw material, agriculture, mining, fishing, forestry, the direct extraction of the resources of the raws from the economy planet would be considered as the primary sector. Okay, so goods in this sector are exploiting the natural resources. Obviously, if we are making the extraction of the resources from the planet, if we are directly making extraction of the resources, somewhere it is exploiting directly the natural resources. People engaging in primary sector are called the red collar workers. You need to know about it. Okay, how much laborers are included under this parameter. Secondary sector, if we do talk about, it includes the finished products. Like this is the task given to the industrial sector or the secondary unit, that you have to convert the raw materials into the finished format so that it would come in the condition that could be usable for people. Okay, people could use it. For industrial, like textile industry, are we in condition to use just the cotton? But if cotton is being transmitted into the format of a cloth, we can use it. Okay, this task has been given to the industrial part. Production, textile, sugar, bread, automobile, refinery we are using comes under this sector. Next is all about, in this sector, natural resources change into other form through the way of manufacturing, in which we are lagging behind very immensely. Okay, we can call it, obviously, if we are lagging behind in manufacturing, though manufacturing units do have the capacity to absorb more and more people, still we are doing not so well in the manufacturing domain. So natural product change into the another format through the manufacturing unit, as we are claiming that we are not distorting the environment too much. Plus, we are also claiming like we are not distorting the environment, and plus we are focusing on the Atmanirbhar Bharat. Okay, Atmanirbhar Bharat. What do we mean by it? we do not want to make reliance or dependence on the other country. And at the same time, we are not distorting the environment. Obviously, we are not distorting it because we are demanding those goods from other nation. From other nation, we are raising our dependence for the intermediate stage on other country. Okay, if we are just demanding for the goods which are intermediate in character, like solar panels, if we are demanding from other countries, they can establish more and more margin out of that intermediate material. We have the opportunity, we have the willingness or capacity to work that in our own country so that our dependence could go down. On one sided, we are claiming that we want to just make ourselves less reliant. On other side, we are demanding more and more for the intermediate category from the other country. Okay, so cotton fiber to yarn, the way I have given the example, sugarcane is used. Sugarcane was be considered as the raw, and if we are making the conversion in sugar so that it can become usable. Iron ore is used for the making iron and steel. If we are taking about, it can be usable for the producers, and these people are considered as the blue collar worker. And earlier, like if we were talking about the primary sector, they were red collar worker. Okay. So next is all about tertiary sector. We were talking about who is making this is providing the assistance, or this is the complement to these two sectors. If they have to develop in a way or the other way, they need to acknowledge the service sector into the periphery. These activities by themselves do not produce goods, but they are in aid or support for the production process. Transport, storage, communication, banking, insurance, as I have told you about, these services are included under this domain, and these services generated services rather than goods. Therefore, tertiary sector is called the service sector. Okay, service sector includes both an essential service that may directly help in production. Obviously, if you are taking care of raws, they have to send to any production unit. It would require what? Transportation. Or if they want to deal with another production unit, they would require communication. And if they are making any kind of investment want to expand their base for the production, they would like to have the credit provisions that would be coming under the category of banking. And if the investment wants to be insured or want a secure basis, it would be through the insurance basis. So every developmental criteria has to be assisted by the services. So services are coming under the category of tertiary sector. Okay, so other fields we can include in the process of goods and services. Services named as teachers, doctors, those who provide the personal services like washermen, barber, everything, this would be included. These are the intangible assistance which has been provided to the economic agent. Okay, so these three we have studied about. These are the nature of job. This is the direct extraction of the resources from the planet. As we are making extraction from the directly planet, it is making exploiting the natural resources. Next is engaging in the primary activity. These would be considered as the red collar worker. Secondary, we are taking into consideration secondary sector, like raw material produced in primary sector. They are taking the things into consideration. Production, textile, sugar, bread, automobiles, means this is converting the raws into the usable format. What do we call to the usable format? That is finished goods. Finished category we are making inclusion of. Then the cotton we are turning to yarn, and the cloth and the sugar cane into sugar, which is usable in format. Tertiary sector, who is assisting these agriculture and service sector? In order to upgrade more and more production unit or investment part, it would require more banking and insurance criteria. And if they want to settle it down, then they would require transportation and communication. Both the things would be the requirement. Okay, organized sector and unorganized sector. If we are talking about terms If there is proper terms and condition, regularity in work, everything would be given on the formalized basis. Okay, code of conducts would be prescribed in the norms on the filing, and registration, proper registration you will get to see. You are assured about the term, what are the real terms of conditions, code of conduct for the institution. This would be coming under organized sector. Next is about unorganized sector. You are not at all you are not at all registered under the economy. Government is not aware from which sector you do belong to. How would they avail the social security to you people? Getting my point? Such kind of criteria like this sector has come into the limelight in 2019 after the pandemic. It has been assessed that which sector, how many laborers are belonging. When they have come across the situation of migrants, so much of migration is there, and we are not even having proper information from which segment they are belonging to. Okay, so in order to provide even the policy framework, in order to provide the social security to the migrants even, we would require the databases. You need to make register yourself. Okay, you need to make the registration for yourself from which category. Category in the sense economical profession I am talking about. In which sector you belongs to. If we will be aware about that sector, we would be in condition to provide the social security to you. At least we should be aware about your name. We should be aware about your work, and we should be aware about the address and all these kind of terminologies, so that we can avail the policy framework. We could give the benefits out of the situations you are suffering from. Okay, next is about a worker enjoy the security of employment. Security, obviously, everything is on the basis of terms of condition. Okay, things are on the basis of terms of condition. Proper norms and social security is prescribed. So there would be more security. Nobody can just create a kind of critical situation for you. It is not at all uncertain in nature, as everything is given on paper and things are registered. Okay, people like government is known to me. Government is known in the sense, if you are registered under some category, government is well aware what kind of person, where he is working on. Okay, next is all about they do not have the proper security basis, but after the pandemic, in order to give the access of social security, we have just diversified this field. Okay, diversified in what sense? In order to know about the worker's state, as we are aware about the fact, even today, plus 90 plus unorganized worker make like 90 plus labor force contributes in the unorganized sector. Okay, obviously, for such a huge population, we have to provide any kind of policy framework. So in order to provide the policy framework, you need to get registered. So we are running towards making the economy formalized in nature. The way you can just look on the aspect, we are continue to make the digitalization in every periphery, because things are unreachable manually at times. Even today, we can come across the sectors which are unbanked in nature, because we might not create such kind of access to those people. But with the help of mobile, with the help of software services, we can avail such kind of opportunity to those people by providing them the literacy state. Okay, literacy in the sense, like we can just give the proper training in what ways you have to use the banking services on phone, or we are well aware about the fact that whosoever is holding phone, approximately 2/3 population out of those people having the smartphone, so they can install the software apps and have the access of the important things. So third is all about fixed number of hours. Obviously, proper terms and codes, disciplines would be there. If they work more, they paid more. If things are being registered, if things are being acknowledged, if things are being given on the basis of terms, you can just make specification. Work enjoy benefits like paid leaves and provident fund and the medical benefits. Medical benefits. So paid leaves and the provident fund and the medical leaves, these would be undertaken like it would be included in the social security. This was only the issue at the time of pandemic when people were not in state to earn, or they would require such kind of assistance to this segment. But how can we avail the like provisions to this segment if we are not aware from which sector, from where they belongs to? Okay, in order to know the belongingness, in order to know the information about this segment, we are trying to make the economy formalized day after day. Next is all about on the basis of ownership. What do we want to elaborate? Public sector industry, we want to talk, owned and maintained by the government or its agencies. Okay, things are undertaken by government, and the first and foremost motive of government is to attain the welfare perspectives, welfare. And private sector industries owned by the private individual and group of profit according to their wish. Okay, according to their wish means their aim is to acquire the profit maximization. Cooperative sector consumers product like milk and rice. There is a kind of organization making the contribution by the members. Whosoever is making contribution, they can avail the benefits and services out of the segment, and they are the shareholder of every gain or loss. Shareholder or the membership in every profit and loss. Plus or minus we can talk about. Joint sector industry, if we are talking about, joint sector means various firms are taking the participation in the same format. Just in order to know about the public and private part, what are the main objective? Maximization of profit. And the public sector, the way maximizing the social welfare, they are just more concerned about the economic balanced economic development. Means if you are making growth in the economy, simultaneously you need to upgrade the economical developmental parameters. What are the developmental parameters? We are getting concerned about the per capita income, whether things has been reached to the last segment or not. If we are concerned about the health coverage, we have to make the reachable to the inaccessible like domain. And third is about if we are just making the upgradation or on the education scale or the health parameter which is included in the HDI index. Okay, HDI, which is securing approximately 131 rank. Okay, ownership being held by the individual and the government. Management is all about honor, professional managers, you are being asked. And capital are raised by the people through loan, private sources, public issues. Capital, what do you mean by capital? Like private sector are the shareholders you can consider. It is the portion of private companies and the public issues. There could be partnership between them, but there would be holding of private state as well. Okay, and this is raised by the government fund. Like government do not have fund, or it is going to be raised by public that you can give money to me, and this is the responsibility of government to repay it along with the returns to you on the secure basis. Okay, area of operations, if we are talking about area of operation, they would require the adequate funding. They would require adequate return on the investment wherever they are making investment on. And this is with the perspective of basic and public utility. They are getting more concerned about the requirements of people, whether they are getting the access of basic necessity or not. Okay. So this is all about the private sector and the public sector enterprises. You need to know about the same. Okay, so I just want to give the glance regarding the central bank, scheduled bank, and the non-scheduled bank. This is coming the way commercial banks are included, cooperative banks are included. Commercial banks are divided into these four segments, and this is the inclusive, most inclusive domain, and working for the grassroots level. And this is in the decentralized state. First category is all about state. Second is all about the cooperative, central cooperative banks. Next is all about the primary. Again, it is working on the grassroots level. And again, we are PACS. We are trying to making it digitalized in format. Proper digitalization or literacy is going to be provided to PACS so that people could grab it and have the access of digital services given to them. Next is all about non-scheduled bank. It would be indigenous bank, like it should be Indian in nature, and the paid up capital should be less than 5 lakh. This is how we are going to determine that non-scheduled banks. Okay, so I'm just giving a quick glance what all we have studied about. This is all about economics. It is all about the study, the way we are studying on the basis of figures, and economic activity, who is really performing the task, and economy is all about where the things are taking place. Okay, where the things are taking place, like production, consumption, and wherever we are talking about. Economy is hovering around every subject, because ultimate objective of the person is to acquire the utility, is to acquire the satisfaction. And how would you acquire that satisfaction? By consuming something. If you are consuming, you are making the consumption in the economy. And how would you consume it if it is not being produced? It has to be undertaken the step of production as well. So things are hovered around the various subjects. Okay, in the Indian economy, it is not about our economy, it is about all. Sectors has been divided or classified into 3 segments. That is, first of all, it is about the nature and how the working condition is there. And third is about the ownership, who is holding how much. Okay. Next is about primary sector. If we are talking on behalf of our primary objectives, directly we are making extraction of the raws from the natural resources, means we are making exploitation of the natural resources directly. Service sector, we are making the conversion about the raws into the usable form. Usable means it would come in the state to make it utilized. Okay, cotton to the yarn or fabric. Who is assisting the agriculture and secondary sector? That is the tertiary one. And who is assisting that? Like the way if you would require transportation and communication is the core part for every segment. Okay. Next is all about if you want to establish or expand more, you would require money. From where you have to collect the money, that is banking. Intermediaries. From where you are going to make it secure? From the insurance company. So this is how things has to be assisted. Things has to be assisted by the tertiary sector. Organized sector, if you are talking about, things are registered, things are known to people, and you are enjoying the services on the basis of terms and codes, and worker enjoy the security basis, as things are already mentioned in the it is already mentioned in the descriptive prescribed norm. Unorganized means things you are not registered. If you are not registered, not known in the economy. If you are not known in the economy, means how would we provide the benefits to you? You would not be getting the benefits of social security. It has come into the limelight, and we have also started the eShram portal in order to acknowledge the unorganized sector, so that we can provide more and more services to this segment, especially at the situation when it would become the most needed criteria, the way we have faced the pandemic one. Ownership, we are talking about public sector maintained by the government, private sector and private individual. Profit, we are talking about cooperatives. Membership, whosoever is the member of this cooperative going to take the loss and profit scenario. Joint venture, going to take the best result out of the joint venture they are establishing. What are the core difference between these two? Public sector always works for the perspective of welfare. It is being owned by government, managed by government, collecting the like resources from the public, operating in basic and the public utility sector. Objective, private sector, like owned by the individual, and they are raising, like it is the combination of private people. Their main objective is to earn profit only, not to take care of the capital, but to earn the returns on the investment. Their most important criteria, whether our things are being under reach or not. Okay, if the basic necessity is being fulfilled or not. This is the basic welfare point of view they are taking care of. So do not forget to take the advantage out of the mantra batch. And guys, I've already told you about the Exampur app. Do not forget to take the advantage out of the Exampur app, as it is providing the free access of various amenities available on the same app. Okay, it is going to be sequential or systematic in approaches. Do not forget to take the advantage out of that. And 9 to 10, this class is going to be the static portion. Okay, static portion of the economics, and 12 to 1 is for what? 12 to 1 is for DNA, daily news analysis, economical affairs, or what is coming, what is there in news on everyday basis. So do not forget to attend the advantage out of the session available on the same.